Alan Joyce, the Irishman leading Australia's largest airline, Qantas, yesterday said it'll be mandatory for passengers to get vaccinated against COVID before travelling on Qantas aircraft. Will Irish Airlines follow suit? Eddie Wilson, CEO of Ryanair, joins us. Eddie, is it something Ryanair would consider doing as well?
I think with Qantas, they're a long-haul aircraft operator, and vaccinations in that context are really for long-haul. In short-haul, with vaccinations here on the way and freedom of movement of people in Europe, I think we'll see an entirely different landscape come spring and into early summer this year. So not really relevant for short-haul intra-European travel.
Okay, not really relevant. Does that mean no is the answer? It's not something you're going to consider?
I think what happens is that, like, to coordinate that, you've got land-based borders. I mean, Australia is a long way from everywhere, and the only way on and off it is through air travel, and they've got particular challenges. And in Europe, the way people jump on and off aircraft and trains, and that's not relevant for a landmass like Europe with a large number of nations that are interconnected.
I'm struggling to see what that argument is, Eddie. I have to say, I get the argument says no.
Well, put it this way: in Paris, if you were to choose to go to vaccination, you just get a train instead, and it's like when you've got countries that are linked by land. I mean, like Ireland is a small island.
There's always ways
around it.
And
trying to get everyone to do it at the same time would be difficult, and to get people to do it. It would be extremely difficult, and it's particularly relevant for Australia, which is a large island nation, a long way from everywhere, and it's relevant for them. But it's not realistic, is what I'm saying. There are a lot of other challenges. We have vaccinations on the way. We're going to be able to, I suppose, ring-fence those that are most vulnerable and get the vaccinations to them so that the vast majority of people can get moving again. And that's what's more likely to happen, is what I'm saying. It's not something you don't want to do. It's just that it's not going to be really relevant in Europe.
Okay, let's talk about Christmas. Where are you at in terms of people booking flights? Are you expecting large numbers to be flying home on Ryanair for Christmas?
Yeah, we're putting on extras from in the run-up to Christmas from the 16th of December onwards. We've got 40 extra flights coming on. We've got extra demand. People are starting to travel. November was particularly, traffic was like people were cutting schedules everywhere. But Christmas, I think people are starting to travel again. And what we're encouraging people to do is, look, here's the EU traffic light system. Those of you who are coming from orange countries, have a test 3 days beforehand, and we have the locations on our website, and comply with the EU regulations, which is what the government has signed up for here. And I think we'll get people home for Christmas, and there are great fares, 20% off for the Christmas uplift. Okay,
Tony Holohan and others are really saying, though, we don't really want people to come home for Christmas.
No real scientific basis for that. I mean, look at the government website. I mean, there is international travel gets a bad rap on, particularly from NEFIT, who have been wrong about this consistently. If you look at what happened during the summer, they were against countries, people travelling from countries that had lower rates than Ireland, and now it seems to be the opposite. At some stage, people are going to have to start to travel, and people who are coming home for Christmas to their families are going to be absolutely responsible about it. They're not going to come home to infect their families. They're going to take a test before they come home.
They're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to self-isolate for 10 days if they're going home for Christmas.
The safest and most responsible thing to do is to take a test 72 hours before you travel, and then if you have a negative test, well, that is the safest thing to do in terms of.
That's not something you can enforce, though, is it? As an airline.
No, but it's the EU traffic light system. You have to show evidence of that. I mean, the government regulations are that if you, in line with the EU traffic light system, if you're travelling from an orange country, then 72 hours beforehand, you've got to have a negative test to travel home. Okay. Then that's the most responsible thing to do.
Is it better at this stage? Look, I understand where you're coming from. A lot of people will empathise that. But is it better at this stage with a vaccine on the way and the Chief Medical Officer in the UK talking about life getting back to normal by next summer? Is it better at this stage just to say, you know what, let's just wait till next summer and let's not come home for Christmas? And yes, the airline industry is going to have to take a hit, but by next summer things will be back for normal. Let's just not travel at the moment. Is that
Shane, that sounds like a nice fairy tale, but there are going to be a lot of airlines around next summer, even on what they've taken a hit on. Ryanair will not be one of those. But like the crisis that's going on in terms of air travel, we are responsible. You can see what we've done from the 1st of July onwards on the return to safe travel, and we've got the EU traffic light system in. The government has signed up for it. We should just get on with it. People get tested before you come home. They are negative when they get home. They will not be a risk to the people around them. And that's the sensible and responsible thing to do as we slowly ramp up the economy again.
Okay, we will leave it there. Eddie Wilson, CEO of Ryanair, thank you indeed for talking